how's it going? It's Grant
and Shelby
with the Garden of Eater, and today we're going to be talking all about crossing with orange-eyed shrimp. Orange-eyed genetics across the board is one of the newest, more inventive shrimp coming out. All the new varieties seem to have orange eyes, simply because there are so many more new shrimp that you could possibly make with orange eyes, plus all of the old varieties that don't already have orange eyes can be basically knocked off, but not true orange eyes. So we'll talk about why they have different names and why that is. But basically, when crossing with orange eyes, you want to make sure that both parents have the orange eye genetics, or else you're not going to have orange eyed babies. So if you're starting from scratch, if you're crossing a normal eye shrimp with an orange eyed shrimp, 100% of the babies are all going to come out with normal eyes, but they're going to be heterozygous or het for orange eye. So when you cross these shrimp back together with one another, you'll get a mix of orange-eyed shrimp and normal shrimp. And then if you were to cross these shrimp back with an orange-eyed shrimp, then you'd get a lot more of the orange eyes than you would if you just cross them back with one another. But you'd still get a couple of them that won't display the orange eye, and they'll just have a normal eye pupil coloration. Another thing I wanted to find real quickly, and this is like definite, is it's only a true eye morph when the pupil of the eye is actually a different color. I get a lot of people, especially like baby Taiwan bees or Tai bees, where the eyes will be like a purple or a red or an orange, and neither one of the parents were orange eyes, and they're like, oh, I've got an orange eye mutation out of nowhere, and now, I've got something new that just popped up in my shrimp. Well, a lot of those shrimp as babies, you can't really see the pupil. So as they grow up and get older, you see the black little dot in the center of the eye, and that's a sure sign that it's nothing special. A lot of the Taiwan bees, blue bolts, will have like a reddish eye to them, purple coloration, and stuff like that. So all of the normal eyes, the color around the pupil can change and vary from white to yellow to red, like I mentioned. But the actual part of the eye that matters is the pupil. So you want that to be orange or hollow or a different color in order for that to be something out of the norm or special. So don't get too excited when you see a baby that has the coloration until you can see the pupil just a little bit better. Macro cameras help out a lot with that. You got anything for me? I'm thirsty. I'm sorry.
No.
I thought I saw a question.
No, there was no question. There was just my orange-eyed yellow King Kongs and black fancy tigers F1 just hatched last night. That was mimic nature.
All right. So, basically, just talked about the rules of the orange eyes. When working with crossing the different kinds of orange eyes, like I mentioned, you want both parents to have the orange eye genetic. But let's run through some of the different combination patterns. Like orange-eyed blue tigers is basically the first orange-eyed shrimp out on the market, and then from there, everything else was kind of crossbred or line bred from these. So the ones that were line bred were the royal blue tigers. You get blondes as culls, so nobody really line bred for those, but perhaps the orange-eyed blue tigers were line bred for culls. I don't really know where they originated. There was a myth or a legend that the orange-eyed blue tigers were found in a cave. That I don't think is true. I think they were a mutation from like a super tiger, a wild type Caridina maria tiger that got the orange eyes, and with that came slightly different coloration to the body and stuff like that. So on top of that, you can select the breed further. You get the royal, and even further past that, It's no longer blue. It's basically black, where the pigment is so deep and dense and dark on top of each other. It's basically black. So no longer call it a blue tiger. And that's where it goes from an orange eye blue tiger, or OEBT, to a BTOE. So those are the black tiger orange eyes. And to some, it's the highest grade possible orange-eyed blue tiger. Others will fancy the royal blues just a little bit more, but they're like deep, vibrant blue. Like, Aquachar doesn't really cut it on how deep and bright the blue needs to be. It's more like the blue in the bottom corner, where a little tag to Garden of Eden, and that's really sought after and hard to control. And then you've got rusty colorations on top of that, where it's like a purplish maroon color. Usually they get it as they mature and age. And I think we go into this a lot more. We already did an orange-eyed crossbreeding video. Of course, our live streams, we dive a lot more deep in depth, answer questions, and make sure everybody understands what we're going on and talking about. And like, I'm going to go through way more crosses than we did on the original video, to kind of give people a good place where to judge and start working from.
Mimic said, Grant, I like that you've gotten a better grip on your nomenclature. I had to Google that. I had no idea. Just
So what is
naming
it?
things.
Oh, I guess. I don't know. I mean, very, very minimal, I would say. However, with the orange eye blue tigers and everything like that, they really started it all. And so for that, you got to use them as the base when crossing out anything. So I like them as like my favorite base for making fancy tigers, even though I don't really focus on the orange eye part to them when making the fancy tigers. I just like the blue coloration. So that's why I used those, but I didn't focus on the orange eye. But you could. I think you would lose a lot of the white pigmentation, and I'll talk about that a little bit more. But you could always, do something where you bring out the orange eye after you cross them back with the crystal shrimp. Pure red line, doesn't really matter what kind you use. The higher grade, the Misuras, I find, tend to transfer the tiger patterns a little bit easier and better when crossbreeding. But with a normal, any kind of crystal shrimp crossed with a tiger shrimp in general, you're going to end up with a Tybee. So basically the goal is an orange-eyed Tybee. And then if you could get, the crazy fancy tiger pattern onto that, would really be the end goal. And the goal in general, I think we're still good. I still see green lights for that cross all together without adding any extra shrimp into the mix. Then when crossing it with, say, a Taiwan B, you really have a little bit more to venture out into, because you have the possibility of the Tybees, the Pintos, not just the fancy tigers that you can pull out of it too. But then this is where I got to talk more about the white gene and why it's so hard to get. You got to talk about white overall in the shrimp hobby. When you talk about pure white lines or pure red lines, the brighter, the deeper, the darker, not darker, so sorry, brighter, the more vibrant white you have, the more money the shrimp is. That's how you get shrimp overseas, pure red lines that go up for a couple $1,000 per shrimp. It's because of the white and how nice it is. With other shrimp, it's very much the same way. Blue steels, you want really nice blue heads, but you want very nice white, vibrant body and spotting on the head itself. And you want that to be as really nice white as possible. You don't want it to be like a faded orange. And, with that comes a higher price tag. And it's just one of those things where the price tag kind of just points out the difficulty in breeding that specific trait. So when it comes to orange eyes, it makes the most sense that the white gene or white pigmentation is going to be one of the harder ones to achieve, and it just makes sense to me. It's why I don't like oh, I got something that has a white gene or white genetic and oversell it. It's just the quality. If something has the deeper, darker, nicer white, then of course that's going to be higher price tag. But it is something that is more sought out for. It's harder to achieve. That we've got some orange eye blue steels or crazy blues or however you want to call them. They're definitely not like a blue devil, but it's more like a blue on blue crazy blue. There isn't really any white pigmentation to it. So I see Vibes through in a $4.99.
We haven't even
Super
got to this
chat.
question
Oh,
because you've been
I'm
talking
sorry.
this whole time.
Oh, my
but
bad.
We'll come back to it. Thank you so much, Vibes, with the $4.99 super chat. Says, happy Monday, y'all. Love y'all. Y'all looking good tonight. Shrimp and grits, anyone? Thank you so much, Vibes. Hope you're having a wonderful night as well. Thank you for the $4.99 super chat.
Appreciate it. Always love your support. Thank you, Vibes. Oh, man. I feel like it's like months away from another Aquashella until we get to see you again. But maybe Aquafest? I think that might be a little bit sooner.
No
So-
idea.
Your question?
And then Koro said, what's one color morph with the orange eyes you've been trying to get?
Green. I think that's the color I've been trying to get on Caradina across the board for 9 years now. So it's a dream I'm chasing. I posted a picture in Shrimp Pimpin' like 2 days ago. The green kiwis, they're looking good. There's a bunch of babies in the tank. I'm excited to see how those grow out. In our orange-eyed yellow tigers, we've had some greens pop out as well, but they flip-flop just like the green tigers. I'm going to talk about that more in just a little bit.
And then Aquatic Moose said, I have a question. What does it mean if a cherry shrimp has a yellow saddle?
It just means the eggs are going to be yellow more than likely. The cherry shrimp, I've seen them have brown, yellow, orange, red, green, blue, white, just about every color eggs. And the egg color means nothing. The babies all come out the same. I've seen shrimp from the same colony have over 4 or 5 different color eggs with the Neocaradinas. So I don't know why they have different colorations. Maybe it's just what they ate while they were developing their saddle. So yeah, hope that helps. You having issues over here with technical?
No, I was going to put the camera on, and if you wanted me to go show certain orange eyes, I would have.
I don't think
I
we're
was
ready
going to
for
show
that
the
yet.
whites, too, that you were just talking about. But
Maybe.
so it's up to you.
All right. So with the white gene and whatever, there is a Polish breeder. I'm not sure his name. Tim has been posting a bunch of pictures and videos where he has some tie bees, which are pintos with the white gene and everything like that. The double solid pigmentation, which I think that is a little bit more impressive than the white gene. But the white gene might just be the double pigmentation coming through, like the Taiwan bees. The Red Devils, the orange-eye Red Devils, don't really look like a Red King Kong. They have that kind of glow of a Bloody Mary, but it's still not something you'd see on a Tai bee, so it more resembles a Taiwan bee than anything. So a lot of people call it an orange-eyed Red King Kong, but because it's not a mutation on a orange-eyed or on a Red King Kong, it cannot be called an orange-eyed Red King Kong, so they call it orange-eyed Red Devil. But if you put the two of them together, it's like two different pigments. It's like the difference between a nice Bloody Mary and a pure painted fire red cherry shrimp. So it's definitely maybe something that could be improved on. And in the future, you see a double pigment Red Devil orange eye. But I'm sure they call it something different at that point.
So John asked, is there such thing as a green steel?
So they're called minties. You want to show them that? They're in Layla's room next to my greens.
Okay.
It's not as green as you want it to be, John. Not as green as I want it to be either. So, but they're a thing. They're just called minty steels, but you'll see why they call them minty steels. It's not really a green. It's more like a mint coloration to them. But there's still room to be improved on those. They do come from my green kiwi tie bees that we produce and made so many different lines from this. I've actually culled my blue crazy blues out of that line into a separate tank and now have a green that popped out of the cull tank. So I think this might be one of the first times ever where I take a cull from the cull tank and put it into a main colony, just because of that coloration is so hard, and it's only culls once removed. And I've been really focusing on the ocean blue and gold colorations to those. So I'm not sure. There she is. Oh, she's handling everything from her end. All right. Bear with us here. Seems like she's lagging. She's trying to turn it horizontal. So the green steels could be improved on for sure. There it goes. That's not the right tank, though. Those are the blue steels. Hold on. I don't know how this is for you guys, but on my end, it's just like frozen and very, very laggy. So I'm not sure if this is something we can do in the future. And I'm just going to go ahead